Hello, friends. My name is Tetiana Kalinowska. I work with transformational practices and I am passionate about self acceptance and inner growth. This series of interview is my way to bring different voices around the topic You Are Enough. And I have very wonderful guest today here. His name is Scott Robson, and I would like you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you so much, Tanya, for having me on this interview as well. So thank you so much. Yes, my name is Scott Robson. I am a personal development coach. I'm a facilitator, so I do lots of trainings in leadership development, and I'm also a speaker as well. My background is in luxury hospitality, but if you go way back, it goes and starts off with Disney. So even here, I have like a little Rafiki next to me who keeps me company throughout my day.
Very nice. I guess it's calming you.
Yes, I channel my inner kind of mentor. So I think, what would Rafiki do?
Okay, it's wonderful.
It's a really interesting question because it's actually a lot of the work I'm doing as well. I think the word "you are enough" is connected to the work that I do around worthiness and feeling that sense of worth. So, what does "you are enough" mean to me? I think it's around self-acceptance. I think it's a lot around compassion, self-compassion, but also a little bit of confidence. I think having the confidence in your ability, confidence in knowing who you are, and understanding your value and how you show up in the world. So I guess my career has been what we call squiggly. So it's never been the same. Like I didn't know from a very young age what I wanted to be. Some people know they want to be doctors, they want to be lawyers. And for me, I just wanted to have fun at that age, you know? So I studied psychology, which obviously understands a lot about human behavior. So I kind of feel like it's this full circle moment that I'm now actually doing stuff around human behavior. But there was this gap where I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. How it links to, I guess, You Are Enough. My journey has been interesting in the sense that I've done a lot of that self-discovery myself, even into my 30s. I'm now 37, and I think my 30s have been almost the hardest ones to go through because I've really had to sit in some of that discomfort and try to be okay with the fact that I am enough. I'm part of the LGBTQ community, so as a gay man, there's a lot of things out in society that tell us that we're not enough simply by existing. And actually, that's my target audience when I do my work around worthiness, is to help them feel that they are worthy and that they are enough, very similar to the language that you use. So yeah, I would say that my journey has been it's probably the same for a lot of people, is this upward struggle that's it's almost it's a daily mantra you almost have to tell yourself. It doesn't become automatic. I think every day we have to show up, and there are moments in our day that make us feel like we're not enough. So it's in those moments I think we sometimes also have to remind ourselves and be compassionate, as I said before, and have that confidence and knowing in yourself that you are more than capable and you are more than worthy to be where you are today.
Yes, it's true. Like it's a struggle day to day with many people. But I guess my guess is that to be part of LGBTQ community, it's probably much more challenges you're going through, and
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest challenge today, and I know it's a very common phrase that people talk about, or buzzword, is social media. I think these unreal expectations, the kind of heightened awareness of how other people supposedly live their lives, it creates that comparison. So even if there is no need at all in your life for that comparison, maybe you're on a completely different path. Social media forces it into this, well, they've got this and what have I got? And I think there's that comparison. So there's this almost not enoughness, as I call it. So going back to You Are Enough, I feel that is what we're constantly battling every day. And unfortunately, it's highly addictive to be on those places because we see such wonderful things. Social media really does bring the world together. However, at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. Whilst we get a lot of information and a lot of things around the world, that simplicity of not having to know, or by not knowing enough, we probably lived a bit of a happier life when it was simpler. However, we are learning so much more now. So for me, I think that comparison culture that we're in is probably the biggest challenge that we're all going through. And that can show up for everybody. What's really interesting is it's not just about being gay that's the challenge. It's being a white man. You might think a white straight male actually comes with no problems, but actually I've coached a lot of straight white males who have themselves are sitting there saying, I don't feel like I'm enough. Senior leaders who feel that they have this imposter syndrome, like they're not meant to be there. So it really hits all of us. I know we tend to think those from marginalized backgrounds, minority groups, they've got it hard. No, they probably have it harder. However, I don't believe any human being on earth is without those feelings of enoughness.
Oh, that is for sure. And I can even confirm that from my own personal life and my personal experiences in life. And the reason why I brought this topic is because for many years I felt that I am not enough, that I'm not enough as a human, I'm not enough as a woman, I'm not enough as a wife, I'm not enough as a mother, I'm not enough as a friend, and many other things. But I realized personally that all of this happening because we not accepting ourselves. And when I started accepting myself as okay, I am the way how I am, with my mistakes, with my let's say imperfection, my perfect imperfection, only then I could um, start changing something and to see that I am enough the way as I am, the way as I were created. And one of the things I used to struggle a lot is talking. I always thought that the way I speak is not wonderful like some other people can do. And even sitting here today and being able to take interview in different language, which is not perfect, on the way I am enough.
And, for someone like myself, I'm struggling to learn a second language currently. You are already, to me, leaps and bounds ahead of my successes when it comes to language ability, because like you said, you are not only speaking a second language, you're also interviewing, and you are putting yourself out there and recording videos with at least a second language, if not more. I don't know how many you speak, but that's already more than what I have. And for you, you're seeing that as, oh, but I don't do it well enough. But actually, you're already much better than I am from that perspective. Not better than, but your
Yeah,
language ability is. So,
but still there are some things that you have that it's better than I have, and that another kind of point where I believe people should not compare themselves with each other, because we never able to compare each other, because we all have so different things like put by God into us, that is actually very silly to compare yourself, because somebody have language, somebody can paint beautiful create beautiful art, and another person can't, and the other person can cook wonderfully, and so you can't compare all of those things, and we all unique. And it's just to remember that we are enough the way we are.
yeah. And the irony is, I've just literally talked about social media being comparing culture, and immediately I use the words better than, and you have this compared to me. But why am I making that comparison? It's just something that we're used to doing in human nature, and I wonder where it comes from. I think sometimes it's a survival thing. I think we compare: are you better at this than that? Does that make you more successful in life because people will accept you? And actually, that's a lot of work that I do is around belonging. And I think there's so Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's been around since the 70s, 40s. I can't remember one of them anyway. Sometime in the 1900s, and Abraham Maslow created this hierarchy of needs that we have. And if you look, once you get past the fundamental needs that we have of physiology and safety, we move into love and belonging. And I truly believe that the reason why we almost hustle for that worth, we hustle to feel enough, is because we want to feel like we belong, that we belong to our family, we belong to our friendship groups, we belong even to our our businesses, but also even to the community, that I walk down the street and I feel like I belong. Whereas a lot of other people maybe don't feel that, or that's what they're hustling for. They're trying to feel that worth.
Yeah, to belong and to be accepted.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
But
one
so I like something you said before. You said, what the work you've been doing is around self-acceptance. And I must admit that the work I've done over the last few years has been around self-acceptance and accepting the fact that I am who I am. It's sometimes it's good, sometimes it's a work in progress. But I find that, and I don't know if this is the same for you, but as soon as I started to think like that, it was almost like not a switch, but it was almost a dial that had turned up. I almost felt like my skin got thicker, as in I had this almost like a protective layer. It's not impenetrable, but it felt that I was much more resilient. I felt that if someone said something, maybe there was a comment made. Of course, I'm an overthinker. I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I'm trying to work on that myself. But I definitely feel that when maybe if I hear comments or something that might in the past have upset me or made it feel very personal, I feel that this barrier has, there's at least a gap. I don't know what that is, whether it's a shield or a barrier, but I definitely feel more protected, and that's my resilience. And it's through, I think, self-acceptance and just to be like, well, I'm a shorter guy than a tall person, and I'm a gay guy instead of a straight person, and I'm a Welsh guy instead of an English person. So, that's just who I am. I can't change some of those things. I can change my attitude. If I'm a negative person, I can change and try to be more positive, try to see gratitude in my life. But the things that are biologically or physiologically created, I can't do much about them. So you accept the fact that that's just who you are. It's your style.
Yeah, and that is absolutely true and wonderful. It's wonderful to be the way how we are, because another thing that what I can see now with a lot of people, they actually trying to become somebody else.
Mm,
Um, it's very painful because okay, you can create on top somehow uh, that you might look a bit like somebody else, or you could talk like somebody else, or you can walk like somebody else. I don't know, like anything of that. But inside, you will never be that person.
mhm.
And it's the most important things for me, I believe. It's to work on your authenticity, to work on that who you really are. Because once you will start accepting that who you really are, the everything around will start changing. People who will be around you, and because then it will be true people who you should be around them. Because if you pretend that you are somebody else, then the people who will be around you, they will not be the people who should be next to you. Because those people will, like, if you will open like your heart to them and say that, oh, I really this person, they will not be able to accept you, because on the way you kind of created fake life around yourself.
Mhm.
And once the people open themselves to the world, everything is changing. That's how I believe. And
Yeah,
universe reward us once we take in our um, authentic steps in life.
yeah. I think some of the hardest challenges people face when it comes to trying to be themselves, their true self, is making changes that might appear socially unacceptable. So, for example, unacceptable, sorry. So, some examples for me would be that I try to look after my health a bit better. I don't drink as much. Now, that's not to say that I don't like a good night out. And every now and then I like to what we call binge, which is not a great thing for the body. So, any medical professionals that are listening in today, I apologize in advance that I don't look after my liver and kidney that way. However, I prefer to not drink as much anymore, or as frequently as I would in my 20s. And what I've noticed is that makes other people uncomfortable. It's almost a shame. And I think we haven't talked about those words yet, but like shame and guilt, I think those are the biggest barriers to making those real changes to feel enough. And maybe the reasons why we hustle is because we have that shame. So, if I say, oh, I'm not drinking much tonight, the looks that some people will give me, they're like, what? But why? Are you okay? Are you on medication? Are you unwell? Like, what's going on? And it's like, no, I just simply don't want to. Then I think that is almost a mirror to them to say, if he doesn't want to, he's trying to be better with his body, but I'm not. And then they go into shame. So the best way for them to cope is to ridicule, or for them to shame back and be like, oh, come on, you boring son of a gun, or whatever, just have a drink with me. So I think sometimes those social pressures to want to go to do the gym more than going to the pub, and I'm talking about fitness mainly, but there are other things, like I changed to be a bit more, I call it flexitarian. It's very millennial, but to not eat meat as much. And whilst that isn't so much a socially acceptable thing, if I go to somewhere, I was in Houston, Texas earlier this year, they are run by, the best steakhouses and beef places and all sorts. So, I had that flexible side, but if I said, oh, I'd just like to have a vegetarian meal tonight or something, it could make the people around the table uncomfortable because it is socially different. So I think a lot of the barriers to people changing and wanting to become more into who their own enoughness is and acceptable and feeling acceptable for themselves comes from the social pressures as well.
Yeah. And the all of those things that you are sharing right now, it's really so reflect with me, because right now I'm about 9 months without alcohol, and I'm not saying that it will be forever. I decided to take 1 year break,
Hmm.
And actually, what I realized that, wow, it's so wonderful to wake up in the morning and to be with clear head, and like before you will wake up and you kind of like drag your body out of the bed, but now I actually feel like I can jump from the bed and I feel so happy and so healthy and like light
Hmm.
in the head and in the body. And it's actually one of the things that it's like if you will talk about alcohol. And also I'm going to gym now more often.
Hmm.
And yes, like if I'm going somewhere with my friends and they will drink alcohol and I will not, but I actually prepared them from beginning. I said, okay guys, I'm not drinking, I'm happy to go and have like a water or tonic or whatever with you, but not the alcohol. And they actually, some were looking at me strange, but some were very like proud and happy, and I was like, wow, yeah, it's wonderful. So if you have the friends who really trying to transform together with you and accept you the way, okay, if you today decide eat meat or not eat meat or drink or not drink, then you feel like, wow, you are very lucky, and um, you accepted the way you are. But it's again reflecting on that, if you accepting yourself, if I accepted myself that, okay, this is the choices I make,
Hmm.
and I will keep going with those my choices. And so for people then it's easier to accept me the way I am.
Hmm.
But once we have that inner doubt inside and we battling inside, like, oh, like what people will think, or like if something, like how it will go, if it's go well or not. But if you kind of like, if I'm keep saying you, but like uh, I mean about all of us, if
Yes.
inside we accept ourselves, accept our way and our decisions, then for others it's more complicated to not to accept you that way,
Yes.
because it's the way how we say those things to those people.
Mm.
It's my personal belief, because in the past I had as well the same ideas, and I will go to places and yes, people will start telling me, oh, but what is strange with you, what, like, why? And because we all here happy celebrating together, and why do you want to be different? And then after some time I will say, okay, and I will either drink or eat some cake or
Yes.
whatever it is. But when I decided this is really what I want to do, there is no way to change my mind.
Yeah.
People can see it in you. And sometimes they might be even scared a bit, but because they see that your real decisions and like 100% commitment to that what you decided to do, then they even will not try
Yeah.
much. So we really need to like understand what we want and
Hmm.
live in that.
Yeah. And I think that's why the acceptance and the I am enough is so hard to achieve quite regularly, because you have internal and external pressures. So internally, you're having to battle with, do I believe that I'm good enough? Do I believe that I'm worthy? Have I reached that level that I feel like I belong in different situations? And then externally, you have those pressures from society saying, eat this, drink that, exercise here, but don't do that. And there's all these conflicting things. And on top of all that, the ultimate thing as well is, as you are, I call it like leveling up, as you are growing and developing yourself to be the best version of yourself, unfortunately, and this is what I think stopped a lot of people as well from growing, is you have to say goodbye to some friends. Because maybe those are only some of your friends because they're in a low place, they're in a place that they don't accept themselves, or they're in a place where they feel shame for what they do, or maybe they want to get out of the way they're thinking, or maybe they see you and think, oh, who are they to be all high and mighty? So unfortunately, you also have to sometimes say goodbye to certain friendships that maybe you've had for a long time, who no longer fit in with this new style that you want to be. So if you used to be a pub goer on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, and now you're a gym goer Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, you're going to lose a lot of those kind of companionships that you've had for many years. But the idea is that you will also gain some new ones as well, and people who are more like-minded. So I think we fear this because we fear that isolation, that's being ostracized from a group. But actually, what we don't realize is by doing that, we're opening ourselves up to welcome a new set of set of people, a new group of friends. Something that surprised me is there's friends that I've made in the last year or so that, like I said, 37, they always say, you kind of tap out once you've reached your friendship groups and stuff. That's it. You don't really have any more. And for me, I'm continuously meeting new people who make me feel good about myself, and people who care about me, who I would never have thought I'd be able to be lucky enough to meet now. But it's because I'm kind of doing the work, and maybe I'm shedding a friend that didn't used to have my best interests at heart, and now welcoming in a new one that does have my best interests at heart. So it's that limbo stage where, what if I lose all my friends and become alone? Nobody wants to be alone or isolated. It's one of our biggest fears.
Yeah.
But it's trusting the process to say, but to let go of this, I will then welcome in something new. And, I left my job earlier this year in April. I did that because I believe that what I want to work on is really powerful, but I also, it no longer serves my values. My values are not the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. I want flexibility to do great things like this and to jump on a call with you on a Thursday morning and have a wonderful conversation. And you can't do that when you're working full time. So for me, I had to say goodbye to something that was security, safety, acceptance, belonging, the norm, right? Everybody works a 9 to 5 usually, to going in this new direction, going it alone. And, it's been exhilarating, but it's also been scary. When am I going to get my next? I don't get a paycheck every month now. I have to pay myself in different ways, and I have to hustle for my business, and I have to showcase myself. There's a lot of stuff around, not being good enough compared to working with a company. But I did it because I do believe that by closing that door, I'm currently in the middle section, but I'm trusting this process that by the end, I will end up having this amazing, rich life. Still remembering all the good stuff from here. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, I loved my drinking days. I loved my eating fast food and getting, late at night and whatever you want to call it. So it's not that I regret it. It's that I'm now making different choices, and I have to then welcome in something new. And it's the same with my jobs. I loved every job I've worked for. Great teams, great people, really great opportunities, especially my more recent one. But I want to move into this new norm, this new way that I work, and this new way that I can show my service for other people.
Yeah. New chapter of your life.
A new chapter, exactly. But in order to move into the chapter, you have to say goodbye to the last one.
Yes. And, just now when you were talking, and some very interesting things kind of reflected in me. And I understood that, yes, people say that when you getting older, it's more difficult and complicated to make friends and stuff like that. But actually, when you open to the world, and actually when you feel like, because as I feel myself as a child of the world, not a child of certain community or whatever. I actually understood very well that I am child of the world, and my friends all international, and I understand I'm going to more open, wider international community, and that's what make me happy. But a lot of people, when they very set in some small group, and of course it's more complicated to make friends. But if the world open in front of you, is it difficult to make friends? I believe it's very easy. So
Yeah.
to meet people like you, to meet other people, it's wonderful, and to be open and to be able to talk with each other, even if it's a different language. And as my not perfect English still allow me to communicate with many of them. And I love this life.
Yeah.
And I don't want to set myself in some small frame when I can actually be open to life and to world.
Yeah. And what I think the key in that, which a lot of people maybe don't see, we have for the earliest part of human existence, we've been storytellers. That's how we've learned and grown over the years, right? So what I think the key to anyone, and it's almost advice, if someone is sitting here watching this today going, who are these two people and what are they talking about? I would say one piece of advice that's always helped me when it comes to learning about someone else is definitely curiosity. But I think more than that is storytelling. We tell our own story, and I believe that makes us human, it makes us relatable, it makes us authentic. It also helps you highlight some of those good things. I think someone who's grown up in a lower income household, went to basic education, is in a basic job, they don't just do those things. They are so multifaceted. They have so much to offer the world. They just don't see it. So by asking those questions or getting them to share themselves, they also learn more about themselves, so they feel more excited. Like, oh yeah, I did play the piano when I was a kid. I thought recently I was talking to someone and they were like, I used to play the piano. I was like, me too. And we talked about that for like half an hour. It was so nice. I haven't talked about playing the piano for years. So it was nice. So I do that. But then also, if you're not sure about what to talk about with a new person from around the world, ask them questions and get them to tell their story. I believe the thing that connects us all around the world are our stories. And whether you are from I don't know, Antarctica to Russia to Sydney to Colombia. I believe if you all sat those people together in a room, language barriers or not, if they were able to communicate and share some of their stories, they would find inner webs that has connected them all together as well.
Yeah, and it's for sure. In my belief that all those borders were created by human as well. It's not like created by nature or God. So who believe in what? Like I believe personally in God, universe, and everything. For me, it's actually one thing.
Yes.
Some divine, something bigger than us, and
Yeah.
it was offered to all of us. But human, the one who created borders and start dividing people. So
And I think it's for two reasons. I don't, I know we talk about greed being one of them, right? That, a country wants to access more and there's monopoly, and I understand all that. There is also an element, and I'm trying to be compassionate when I say this, is I do believe it's fear as well, fear of the unknown. We are all scared of something that's not like us. There's people who are more accepting of it. So being in cities, getting to meet people, traveling around the world, but there is so much hate in the world at the moment. I think that hate comes from fear. It doesn't come from dislike or distaste. So I think the borders are protected around the or put around the world for protection because people want to feel safe. But the truth is, we can be safe if we, show kindness, if we show compassion and stuff as well. So
like I'm not as well like trying to blame anyone or whatever, but like I can understand the same way we all have our own homes.
yes,
So it's like you think that our own homes, like houses, flats, or whatever, it's like our own borders. Like so, we need to have some boundaries, and even just person to person, like we need to have some boundaries.
yeah,
But I think lately it's kind of much more stronger somehow.
yes, yeah,
Even though a lot of things now look like much more open and people more, let's say, can travel more. We live already in this time and age, but like there's still so much hate happen and like really like you could think that we already learned so much and we could be more compassionate, but
yeah. It's funny because I know we're going off topic a bit here, but it's interesting how we travel around the world, yet we try to find kindred spirits in our own community. So when I lived in Orlando for a year, I lived in America. We used to hang out. I used to work in a UK pub. So it was like a pub that had been transported over to America. They'd had like all the usual British things, fish and chips. What else was on there? Like, the typical beers, and we were like a representative of that country. So people from America could come and visit and ask us questions. And that's all fine for our job. But then outside of our job, we stuck together as the UK. We went on nights out together. We traveled during day trips. And I was like, I've come to another country to meet Americans, to meet, Mexicans, to meet, who else was always there? Like Italians and French, like people from around the world who had come to Orlando. I was
yeah,
like, I want to meet other people. But we stuck together as like UKs. And I was like, I can do this in the UK. I don't need to do this here. And I know there's a comfort in that, and I know that especially a language barrier. I mean, I don't know it as much as anyone else, but it must be at the end of a day of having to constantly translate. It must be so freeing and everything to just talk your own language with you. And there's something nice about like this happens with age as well, right? If you make references to things from what you grew up with, I think it's nice when someone else gets them and you're like, oh, do you remember this? They're like, yes, oh my God. So I know there's a familiarity and that makes us feel comfortable and happy. But I do feel that real growth, real richness in your environment comes from welcoming and being around people from different places. But unfortunately, we go to different countries and then we create our own little population of a mini UK or a mini, I know it like they say a lot, like in London, I think it's below the below the Thames. I think there's like an expat of like, New Zealand and Australians that sort of take up Battersea area, I think it is, or whatever. And it's like, it's fine. But then it's like, it's like that safety in numbers. I think that's all it is. So I know it's a group mentality. It's a different thing to tackle.
yeah,
But I feel that the best way, that richness you do get, is when you are very diverse and you can share your stories, share your heritage, share everything about what you are with other people.
yeah.
That's a big conversation.
And for me, like in the end of this particular conversation, I just want to send and share my love with people that they should feel accepted and loved the way they are.
Yeah. So I do my coaching, like I said, a professional development coach, and what that means is I work with people to want to make changes in their lives. I'm an outdoor coach and actually did a talk on this yesterday about the benefits of being out in nature. And you and I, when we first met, we did the same thing and we had such a benefit of that. And it's wonderful. So what I do is the way I describe my coaching is like a tree. So forgive me for a second, I'll just explain what I mean by this. So a lot of people come to me and will say, Scott, I want to fix my finances. I'm not like a finance advisor, but things like, I want to save for a house or I want to get a promotion in my career. And to me, those are what I consider your branches of a tree. So they are the end results from your kind of roots that are feeding all of that in there as well. So of course, I know there's a two-way part in this, but for the simplicity, the branches are your end result, and that's what people see. So I want to get a new car, I want to be in a new relationship, I want to whatever. We could fix that, and then what I call fix is like as if it's a bit of a bad branch, like I'm not saving the money I want to. But actually, if we jump through to the roots are really what's feeding that branch. So if there's a negative root, and your roots are things like your values, your beliefs, your past experiences, maybe you grew up in a household of low income, so no one ever earned more than £30,000. Maybe you have this bad habit where you have to spend every penny that's in your bank account before your next paycheck. Maybe there's a belief inside that you say, I'm not worthy enough of a house, I'm not worthy enough of a new car, I should always get secondhand. So rather than working at the top, it's a little bit like therapy, but coaching really has this future focus in mind of like, now that we know this, let's move forward. But if they're willing to, I take them from the branch and I really go down into the roots, because that middle section, which is what I do a lot of my work on, is around the worthiness, and your trunk is the thickest part and therefore your coping mechanism. So if you're struggling and feeling bad about yourself, they kind of dial up, and those are things like your perfectionism, your people pleasing, your performing, right? So or you're pretending. So the masks that we wear, right? We sometimes blend in. So those are my four that I talk about a lot around worthiness, and that protects you from going deeper. But if they're willing to go there and to take off that thicker layer and to really understand those roots, it's not about breaking them off and or doing anything to them. It's creating a new root, is a new belief. It's hard to unlearn old stuff that we've had. But what's better is to grow a deeper, more stronger root that says, I am enough. Or to grow a deeper and stronger root that says, I deserve a place of my own. And once they believe that, the work that comes up is almost a ripple effect. So once we've started there and say, now that you believe this, what actions do you want to take to improve your branch of finance or whatever it is, they're much more willing and able to change. We can just fix that one thing, but if that belief below is I'm not enough, it not just feeds into their finances, it feeds into their relationships, it feeds into their family, it feeds into their career. And everything that they do is like that. So the work I kind of do is based around almost like the metaphor of a tree. And I like to get into the deeper stuff to incite real change.
Yeah, it's quite nice to compare your work with tree. It's
I
really
feel a bit like I'm an avatar or something like that. We have this connection to nature, but it's true. I do believe that we get so much from nature, not just healing benefits, but also that connectedness and metaphor. I think you and I talked about it during our session together, and we had this geese around us. We had all sorts of different things that happened, and there's such a nice parallel between what happens in nature and what happens with us that I think it's really nice to explore that in a really creative way.
yeah, definitely. It's like you still like you explaining something on the natural way on about the tree, and like for me it's like that imagination now, like where the some kind of blue light going through the roots and
Yes.
up, and like it's so wonderful.
The mycelium or the underworld network, what can come along to help it and everything. Yeah, I'm very big on nature. I'm a bit of a geek on that side now. So
I, I also really love nature, as you know that I'm running my game Lila mostly in nature. Uh, Sometime I also run it online, of course, especially in winter, because we have to sit down somewhere and for long hours. So
yes.
it's not possible in winter to do it outdoor. But I guess on your coaching session, you can go anytime and explain, at least on the
Oh,
trajectory.
and we do, let me tell you, I've been outside in torrential rain. I've been absolutely soaked from my knees down, but the client wanted to stay outside. They were like, let's go, let's get our umbrellas. So we were walking like around Hyde Park like this, like
Oh,
walking through. But they loved it because, yeah, like whether it's cold or hot or autumn and, fall or spring, there are so many nice moments. And people, when they agree to go outside, especially in the UK, we kind of know the types of weather that we have. So nothing's really a surprise. So
yeah.
therefore, we do our coaching session, and I think they get really invigorated because there's so many benefits from being outside. So I love it, and I think that's part of my offering is, I guess, a bit of time to step into nature because we are just stuck to our desks, stuck to our
Yes.
laptops, when nature can offer so much for us as well.
But honestly, like with weather, you could even explain to people the way life work.
Mm,
Because weather, it's exactly the thing that how everything happening with us. Like I could imagine doubts, it's to be like some rain,
yeah.
worries, snow. Like
Yeah.
you can be creative, and then love, it's the sunny, nice weather.
Yeah. But it
So
could be like real things that like challenges that happen and maybe looking at new life and things growing and saying, where are you currently growing in your life? When you see that the fresh, soft green of a leaf that's growing at the end of an older tree, you can say, what is growing for you? Or if things are starting to fall off the tree, what are you letting go of and stuff? So it comes out in everywhere. I love it so much. Of course. So I've made it super simple across all platforms. It's my name, but it's the Scott Robson. So Scott Robson was apparently taken. So what I did is I put the word the at the front. So THE and then Scott SCOTT and then Robson ROBSON. And then that's it. You'll find me on a website, scottrobson.com. If you go into social media, I'm on TikTok and Instagram as well with some videos on there too.
okay, wonderful. And I'm really so grateful for you to accept the offer to come for the interview. And also, I'm really so pleased that we had this conversation. And I find it very, how to say that, like really very wonderful. And also, like, I believe that there are many topics we touched which could be very useful for many people who will watch this video.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for
My
joining.
pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on here today as well. It's been so nice catching up with you today.
Yeah. So I wish you and everyone who watched this video a wonderful day, and we'll see everyone soon.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.